last time on the Iron Horse. We were working through some carburetor stuff, getting her the new, 850 base plate, 750 main body, home built, fully custom carburetor that we assembled. Getting that all tuned up and working on the car. We still got a little ways to go on it, but I've made great progress since the last time you've seen it. But today we gotta get valve covers back on and everything put back together because we had a little whoopsie. So as I was tuning up the carburetor, you're ripping her up to $6,000, over and over and over again. Eventually I heard a tick, 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 tick. It's always had a tick, so it just sounded a little louder this time. It's like, that's new, And it got louder and louder. Tick, 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 twink. Yep. Know what that sound is. Then I had dead miss. Drove back here, and sure enough, I didn't know which side it was on, but I knew it was on one of them. Our rocker arm nut came loose, fell off. Rocker just flopping away, lost a cylinder. So, gotta put her back on, tighten her back up, get her back up on the road. Now, in case you didn't know, these rocker arm nuts, these factory ones, this old style right here, that is an interference nut. That is it's got a crimp on it, which is supposed to hold it in place. It was this back one over here. So this is supposed to be an interference, hold it in place, but as you can see, I can just twist her down with my fingers. The crimp has lost its tension on the actual threads here, which just happens after loosening and tightening a couple of cycles. They just lose their tension. They lose their crimp, and then they, no longer hold on to the stud like it should. It usually means, it's time for a new set, right? Well, in our case, we need to get this thing up and going on the road. I need to, I don't have time to wait around trying to get these frickin' rocker arm studs, nor the finances, because I just made a purchase that you guys are going to see eventually, but not just yet. But anyways, so we just need to get her to work, right? I mean, we got to get the nitrous going and everything else. Holding down the rocker stud is lower on the priority list here of things we need to spend the money on. So, Ace Hardware, they have interference, all metal locking nuts, right? The exact same thing, only smaller. They're not big like the actual rocker nuts are. So we're going to use this as a jam nut. Now that we got that down to where it should be, we're going to use this to just jam it. Now watch. I can spin it, and no longer can spin it, because that is the way it should be. You shouldn't be able to actually down on the threads. That's supposed to lock in place. So let me just run that down and lock her onto the top of that other one. Just like so. That's just going to prevent the other one from actually backing off. The reason we're using the other one still is because it's got a wider base, and it's just more convenient. We'll, use the actual nut design to hold the bottom there, and we'll just use that as a locking nut. There's enough thread left. So, good. Fixed. Granted, if this was the motor we actually cared about, and we're trying to, just stick with this one, that'd be a temporary fix. We'd eventually get, the right hardware. Seeing as this one's going to come out and the new one's coming in, we'll focus our money and importance on the actual new engine to make sure, polylocks and stuff like that on there. And, this one, it'll get by. But really, I mean, check this out. 6% and Pickin' with Pickle, Junkyard, all of them. complaining, you know, telling me about my oil and whatever else. Yeah, I get it, the oil, blah, blah, blah. But it's really, not really a whole lot of sludge in this thing. Or on this side, you know, it looks pretty good, not gonna lie, for, you know, what she is. I mean, the oil condition itself, we got, I mean, let's see if we can focus here. I mean, still got viscosity to it. Doesn't even smell like gasoline. I figured this stuff would be drenched in gas, but, you know, because it's got blow-by. I mean, she's got blow-by. It's a worn down 302. You know, it's tired, okay? She's not perfect. But let's put her back together, huh? All put back together. I can't wait till we get this engine out, because this is just a mess. This is not how you ideally want to set up your engine bay. I mean, we got wires all over the place, but this was just to get it going, you know, and really, we knew this was coming out. Once it's out, then we can actually reroute this stuff. But anyway, she's put, oh, PCV valve, I've got to put that back. Otherwise, it's all put back together. Let me give you a little update about the carburetor now that we got all the other stuff done. So, we started life, you know, we put it on there with 69s in the front, 74s in the rear of, you know, metering blocks, right? And an 8.5 power valve with 35 shooters, okay? Had the lean bog, it had the stumble, right? The secondary stumble. So I changed the squirters, I went up to 37s. It, you know, still stumbled, you know, it was a little burbly, right? Went down to 31s, that just cut right off, you know, just complete lean, right? So then I kind of changed some pump cams, seeing if maybe, you know, this, that, and none of that seemed to work. So we needed more jet in the back, because through the transfer slot, the jets will affect that, because the jets is what's feeding the transfer slot, and that's what, you know, adds supplemental fuel along with the pump shot as you're transitioning from closed throttle to open throttle. So I went big and I took the primaries off. I put 72s in the primary, went from 69 to 72, and we went from 74 to 78 in the back. Bog gone, right? Fixed the bog, but now she's a little fat, right? Well, you know, from what I gathered before, you know, rocker stud fell off. I mean, I'm sure those didn't just come loose all of a sudden. I mean, it's probably been a little bit loose to begin with, so, you know, right. The $6 grand didn't help it any. Anywho, that's fixed now. I thought it was a little fat, so now we're going to keep the secondaries. I'm going to keep the, pump nozzles. I currently have a 28 up front, and I have a 31 in the back. I think I'm going to go to 31 in the front. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see how it reacts. I'm not going to change it just yet. But I am changing the primaries. I'm keeping the secondaries all the same. I'm changing the primaries back to the 69s, because it ran pretty good until you got to the, secondary, right? And I am changing the power valve. We had an 8.5 in there. I'm going with a 6.5, just to kind of see what that does, right? All right.